In this video, I'm going to be giving you a crash course on pivot tables. I'm going to be covering the most important things you need to know about them to become an advanced user. In this data set, I've got sample Amazon orders that I'm going to analyze with the pivot table. So let's get started with how to create a pivot table. If you click anywhere on your data set, you can go to the Insert tab, click on Pivot Table, and you'll have the option to create a pivot table right there. Another thing you can do is use this shortcut. Hold Alt and press NVT, and it'll get you to the same place. And you can see it automatically detects your table or range and asks you where you want to put it. I suggest putting it in a new worksheet just so you've got a clean slate to work with. I'm going to click on OK, and now I've got my pivot table ready to set up. Which leads me to the next thing you need to know is how to set up your pivot table. We've got sections for filters, columns, rows, and values. So for values, it's important that we actually put numerical values in there. Otherwise, we're not going to get the results that we want. And so I'm going to scroll down here through my list of fields, and I'm going to pull in the total amount field, drag it into the values section, and now I can see the total of that field. But the key thing with a pivot table is being able to slice and dice it in different ways. For example, let's say I want to break out by the different expense categories. I'll pull that into the rows section here. So now I got a nice summary based on my different categories. But I can also use the columns section as well. So let's say I want to look at the different products. I'll go up here and drag product name into the columns section. Now, this is not ideal because as you can see, now I have to go left and right, and it's not really easy to see everything in one snapshot. So a good rule of thumb is when you've got a lot of items, that's a field that you're probably going to want to put in the rows section. So I'm going to swap these around. I'm going to drag product name into the rows and put expense category into the columns. Now, as you can see, it's a whole lot easier. I can scroll up and down and see everything that I need without having to go left and right, which is obviously a bit more tedious and time consuming and not ideal, especially when you want to see everything. The last section is the filter section. So let's say I want to filter by the order status. I'm going to drag order status into filters, and now I've got a drop down here so I can just look at delivered orders. I can select processing, or I can select everything if I want to. So it's really easy that way now to see exactly what I'm looking at. But you don't have to do it that way. Instead, what you can also do is use a slicer. If I go to the Insert tab, there's an option here to add a slicer. If I click on that, I can select any one of the fields in my data set. So I'm going to select that order status. Click on OK. And if I move it over here, now it's really convenient to just toggle between the statuses here. So if I click on delivered, you can see that's the same effect as if I were to select delivered from the dropdown. Processing, it's going to update here as well. Returned and shipped. If I want to select multiple, I just hold down Control and select another option, release, and it's going to update. And now you can see multiple items are selected. So if you've got a slicer, you really don't need to use this filter section. So I'm going to remove that because it's really the same thing. And if I want to turn off the filters, I can click on this option here, this red X, and now you can see everything it is filled in blue, so that's everything is seen. So if I click on an option, the white options here basically are saying that these are not included in this report. Only anything that's highlighted in blue is. So if I turn it off, I can see everything is now highlighted. Now, a big advantage of using a pivot table besides creating a summary in seconds is being able to drill down. So this amount here is 2376. If I double click on it, I can see exactly what makes up that total. So if I go to the total amount section, and if I select all those values, if I just sum them up here, so I'm going to click on the auto sum, 2376. So it's exactly matching up to what I just double clicked on, what I saw in my pivot table. So when I'm done looking in that, I can just right click, delete this sheet. But that's how you can easily drill down on your pivot table to see the details. Not only do you have a summary, but you can drill down quickly and easily. Now, what about refreshing this? Because obviously we've got a data set where it potentially could get bigger over time. To refresh your pivot table, you've got a number of different options. You can use macros if you want. You can right click, refresh, go to the data tab, click refresh all. What you can also do is if you go to the pivot table analyze section, click on options, go under data, and check off this option to refresh data when opening the file. So when you open up the file, it'll automatically do a refresh. But one thing to consider though is when you're refreshing your data, it may still not necessarily be accurate and up to date. And that's because of a really common issue you can encounter. Because if your data source isn't updated, then refreshing it isn't going to help. So let me give you an example here. I'm going to go to order history at the very bottom here. I'm going to add, actually, I'm just going to copy this line here, paste it again. But what I'm going to do is make it a very large value. So let's say, so my total amount is an X. I'm going to make this, I'm just going to add a bunch of zeros. So make it a really large number. So it'll be really obvious if I did a refresh, if it showed in the total. So I'm going to clean this up a bit by getting rid of the product name and just have a breakdown by category. Now, if I right click and refresh, nothing's happened. The total has not been incorporated into my results. And the reason being, if I go to the pivot table analyze section, click on change data source, you can see it's referencing this range 1 to 501. And the row that I added with that large value was in 502, so it's not including that. So you have two options here. You can manually go in and make these changes and change this to 502. And now you can see now it's in there. I'm going to hit Control Z though, because that's not an ideal solution. So I'm going to delete this line as well and show you a better way to do this. And that's to convert this into a table. So I'm going to go to Insert, click on Table, click OK. And now I'm going to call this Table Data. So now, anytime I add to this, it's going to automatically update to include those new amounts. But what I also need to do though is change my data source. So if I go back into here, pivot table analyze, change data source, I'm going to get rid of this fixed range and just type in data. So that's that range that that table that I just created. So when you're first creating your pivot table, you won't have to go back in and change it. This is just because I've changed my range. But if you're creating it from the start as a table, then it'll be a lot cleaner and easier and you'll avoid this issue. But I can also change it by just typing in the name of that table. I'm going to click on OK. And so right now it looks identical because I haven't changed anything. But now let's go back to order history and do the same thing where I'm going to add a line. So I'm just going to type in anything here. And as you can see, it's added that highlighting to basically tell me that it's expanded my table. And the benefit of a table is I can easily see these fields. I can see total amount here. So now I'm going to add my large value here with a bunch of zeros. So I added it on there and you can see the table is automatically expanded as I've added that. Now, if I go back to my pivot table and now if I do a refresh, you'll see now it's added that total. So now I don't run into that issue. So the key thing is when you're working with pivot tables, you're going to want to either use a named range or ideally use a table. So that way, as you add to it, you don't have to worry about doing a refresh and those values not being updated, because that's a really easy mistake to make because you're not going to see any error messages. You're not going to see any warnings. You could just go in and refresh and wonder why your values are wrong or they're not included. And worse, you may not even notice that they haven't updated properly because your range is not correct. So when in doubt, go to the pivot table analyze and check your data source just to make sure that it is including everything. Because if you do an update, you do a refresh, it's going to be useless if that range is not correct. Another thing you may want to consider when you're working with a pivot table is changing the values. Right now here, I've got a sum of total amount, but I can click on this, select value settings, and I can display it as an average, perhaps a max, a min. There's different types of breakdowns I can use. What you may also notice is, let's say I pull in product condition, which is a text field. I pull it into the values section, it's going to show a count. So if you ever see a count of something, that's your hint that it's not reading as values. So even though most or almost all of your data might be in values, there might be one text value in there that's messing it up. Because by default, it should show a sum. If it doesn't show a sum and it's showing a count, that's a hint that probably there's a text value in there that's causing it not to read properly. So if you encounter that, you'll want to dig in to make sure that that's the case, because I can't just go into value field settings and change this to a sum because I only have the option for count and count numbers because I've got text values in there. So if you encounter that, that's probably what's happening in there. So you may want to just go in and check check your data source. But if you do have a value section, you can toggle between sum or count or average and do all these different summarizations that you can do for your field. Another common thing you may want to fix with pivot tables is you don't want it to actually say sum of. You'd rather just say total amount. And so if you want to change that, you can also do that in the value field settings. So I'm going to remove this sum of and just leave it as total amount and click on OK. And now it's updated. So it's a lot cleaner than just having a sum of or an average of or a count of field. It looks a lot cleaner and more polished. Lastly, the big advantage of using pivot tables is how easy it is to create reports. So here I've got a breakdown of categories and amounts. I can go to insert and just create a chart right off the bat here. So I can have my breakdown based on these values. Now I've got that other value skewing all my results. So let's go back and delete that. So I'm going to go at the very bottom here and just delete that out of there. And now let's do a refresh. And you can see now both my chart and my pivot table update. This is why using pivot tables is incredibly useful if you ever want to create dashboards, just because they're going to update based on your data. And while you may have these ugly buttons on here, you can get rid of them as well. So if I go back to Pivot Chart Analyze, I can click this option for field buttons, and that cleans it up. I can also get rid of the total if I want, just to make this look like a nice and clean chart. What you can also do is pull this over top of your data set, over top of your pivot table. So nobody really even sees that you've got a pivot table, and now you can just use the slicers to toggle between this. So as you can see, now you've got a nice dynamic chart that's updating based on your selections. So it's really easy now to create a dashboard. And what I often do is create multiple pivot tables and do this process where I've got them all linked to the same data set. And it's a lot easier now to create a professional looking dashboard using just pivot tables that you can then convert into charts. So depending on how many views you want, you may want to create another pivot table. So if I just take this and hit Control C and Control V, let's say this time I want to break down of not the expense category, but let's say that order status to see how many of my orders are based on the different statuses. I've got that filter still in here, but I can click Select All or turn it off from there. But now I can create another chart. So this time let's create a bar chart just to make it look a bit different. And so now I've got multiple views here of my data. So I've got all these charts here linked to my original data set. So as you can see, now it's really easy to create a dashboard just based off of pivot tables, because we can convert the data into charts that'll automatically update based on both our underlying data and any slicers that we may decide to use. And I can clean this up by getting rid of grid lines, getting rid of the lines for the chart as well. So it's the same manipulation that you can apply to any sort of chart, just to make it a whole lot cleaner. And then what you can also do is put the chart over top of your pivot table, and so it looks a whole lot cleaner and easier. And you don't even see that there's pivot tables on here, because you can just make these changes on here and it's going to automatically update your data. And so as you can see, it's not terribly complicated to manage and use a pivot table. The key thing is to know the pitfalls and the mistakes that you can potentially run in when refreshing and updating your data, just to make sure that it is accurate, because no dashboard, no report is going to be useful if the underlying data is not updated or correct. But if you got a good grasp on that, you're well on your way to being an advanced pivot table user. If you want to follow along using the file that I've been using in this video, check out the link in the description for this video.